As the 2026 NFL Combine is underway, we're going to go ahead and look ahead of players that we can expect to hit free agency and who's going to be a good fit in the new Christian Parker defensive Dallas Cowboys system. Welcome to Big Rich Star Talk. I'm Big Rich, and let's talk Star. So the 2026 NFL Combine is underway, and right now we've had linebackers, and I think today we had the DBs. And let me tell you something: that safety crew was phenomenal. And then I think there were some safeties that got snubbed and didn't get invited to the Combine. But there's that kid from Oklahoma that looked really sharp. Dylan out of Oklahoma was a guy that shot up board. So if you're a team that needs a safety in this draft, this is your year. And I can tell you what, the Dallas Cowboys need a couple. So keep your eye out for that. But as most of you know, what drives the 2026 NFL draft or every draft is free agency. Now, the Cowboys have been known to kind of cherry pick the bargain bin and get players. But we're running out of years for Dak Prescott. We are running out of time for Jerry Jones to see that Super Bowl be lifted up, the Lombardi Trophy be lifted up one more time. So they say that last year, they were going to go all in, but this year, they're going to bust the budget. Well, let's see. Let's hold their feet to the fire, guys. So let's see if they actually do it. So let's look at some things that have happened that could impact our free agency move. The big news, obviously, today is George Pickens got tagged, which is not a surprise. We all knew he was going to get tagged, and I think it's just a placeholder for what they're going to work out a long-term deal. This is not like the Micah Parsons thing. The energy feels different. It is not. I think he's going to be in the building. I think he's going to sign the tag and work if the deal doesn't get done. But I think the deal's going to get done. I do. Is it going to be market, setting? I don't think so. But George Pickens made this team better. He needs to stay on this team. So, Stephen Jones, Catboy, get it done. The next thing, that kind of I didn't see coming was they put that second round tender on TJ Bass. I love the depth. I really do. And looking at this offensive line class in the NFL draft, it's not as strong. And TJ Bass has proven that he can be a starter in the NFL. How long can he go throughout the games? For 4 or 5 games, he was solid, especially when he had to fill in for Zach Martin. But can he go 17 games? I don't know. But some teams may think he can, and they may want him. So putting that second round tender on him is going to be, I'd take the pick. I would take the pick 100%. You can find a decent depth guard later on in this draft, and then you get a second round pick to help, fill your holes that you have on defense. So absolutely, this was a smart move, I think. It doesn't really do anything. But what I think it kind of also shows is that the deal with Brandon Aubrey is going to get done. Here's why: because the rumor was that we're going to place that second round tender on Aubrey, and that he wanted $10 million, and they offered 7.5 or whatever million a year. And apparently everybody's lying. It's all cap, as the kids say. But you place that second round tender on TJ Bass. So that means they're not worried about placing that tag on Aubrey. I think they are going to get a deal done because I believe Todd France is Aubrey's agent, and he was posting videos of him walking to the Cowboys bus to, talk to the Joneses. So I don't think negotiations have been stalled as the media has led them. I think they just want to dabble in some Dallas Cowboy drama for you. And another thing that was big talked about here at the Combine before we get into some free agency names was that Maurice Liufau is going to be moving to outside linebacker. He's got the length. He's got it. But he needs to put on some mass. He needs to put on some size. The guy he's got to eat. And he's got the arm length. But does he have the bend, and does he have the twitch to get around the edge to play outside linebacker? I want this kid to succeed. I loved him coming out of Notre Dame, so I really do want him to succeed. I could be wrong. He could be him and Donovan Ezraku. They could kill it as outside linebackers. Who knows? But that is something that I'm looking forward to. But what this tells me now that this puts a hole in the middle linebacker position. So let's talk about free agent linebackers. The number one name I want to talk about is Nakobe Dean. I mean, the guy is fantastic, and wrote some notes here, so I'm gonna read them off. He's an athletic coverage linebacker. I mean, he fell to the third round. He was out of Georgia. I think the year we took Tyler Smith, and then I thought, oh, they'll get him in the second round. And then we took Sam Williams. But then there were some injury concerns, and that has followed him throughout his NFL career. But with that injury history, he could be cheap. Projected cap hits $8 million. Okay, so this is all basing it off also if the Jones boys, if they freaking restructure some contracts, and if you sign Pickens, that'll open up cap money this year. Restructure some contracts, boom, you're good to go. I think you can make up like, 100-something million, or I don't even know what it is now. I shout out to Tom Downey that always does these little notes things. But a couple other linebackers, let's go for another cheap option. Quay Walker, he's big, rangy linebacker. He's got hybrid value. He can move around. His projected probably around $8 to $10 million if you want to go Quay Walker out of Green Bay. And then, of course, let's talk about the Devin boys, another linebacker position. Devin Bush or Devin Lloyd. Devin Bush, I got him as he's a coverage capable linebacker, and he's got nickel flexibility, which is great. I think that's something that Christian Parker is going to covet in his defense. So, but you're looking at it to $10 to $12 million cap hit. And then the big name right now for me is Devin Lloyd. He's an elite 3-down linebacker. He can run. He can coverage. He's got blitz versatility. And you're probably looking at a $16 to $20 million dollar cap hit for him. And we know the Jones boys aren't willing to put that kind of money for a free agent, but are they willing to bust the budget this year, like they said? Another names they wanted to talk about is they want an edge rusher that's going to set the edge and somebody that's going to play the run. I still like Keldrick Folk, but this isn't draft talk. This is NFL free agency talk. So what about Dafe Owe? He's explosive 3-4 outside linebacker with pass rush upside, but you're looking at $18 million. And I wouldn't hate it, but I'm not going to want to spend that much money. I want to be able to spend enough money to get players that are going to fill all these holes so you can draft best player available. So, like, say if a Jeremiah Love falls to you. Another guy that I know is going to be a favorite hot topic button, or not hot topic button, but just a hot topic for the Dallas Cowboys is Trey Hendrickson. He's played multiple fronts. He's a proven decent edge rusher. You're looking at a $12 to $14 million cap hit. Do you want him? I mean, maybe. Honestly, I would love to bring Jadeveon Clowney back, but the talks have been different. Prior to Christian Parker, they were like, you know what? We really like our guys, and we're gonna try to get Clowney back in this building. And I was all in agreement with it. But now those talks have I don't think Christian Parker sees the value in Jadeveon Clowney like we all do. And who might argue, if he doesn't think that fits his system, if he wants to go revamp it, let's do it, because we all know how bad that defense was. And was Jadeveon Clowney a shining light in the defense last year? Absolutely he was. But that doesn't mean we can't change it up, mix it up, because I don't want to be, I just want a shining light. I want this thing Friday night lit up on the field when we're trying to rebuild this team. Not even rebuild this team, but rebuild this defense to match our star power offense that we have. So is Jadeveon Clowney going to be cheap? Uh-huh. Do I want him? No. Not Clowney. Thank you for everything you did, dude. I appreciate you, but I'm trying to get better at that edge position. I want to get better. I want to help out our 3 stud defensive tackles that we have. How do we do that? Help them out on the edge. Give me some guys that are proven winners that, say, if they bring all the attention to Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark, Osa, Donovan Ezraku, and Stud B, figure out how to get it done. Another holes we have is I think we need a corner. Obviously, we need somebody in the mix because Chavone Revel's health, I don't know. Deron Bland's health, I don't know. So let's get a guy that can play. He's a versatile outside corner who's good at zone man blitz. And, of course, I'm talking about Jamel Dean. He's going to be your $10 to $12 million cap hit. Now, this corner and safety class, phenomenal. Would I love to spend picks 1 and 20 on safety corner? Yeah, I would. Or corner safety, depending on how you want to go. But I still think we need bodies. You know what we have? Shavon Revel, Deron Bland, Kalen Carson, Bridges. I mean, who do you want to put out there? But we need bodies. So Jamel Dean is one. Jalen Watson, about $12 million cap hit. I got a coverage corner. He's a coverage corner for disguised secondary looks. Pretty good. I like that. And then give me Montreric Brown. He's an $8 to $9 million cap hit. Zone coverage specialist. But there could be other names out there that you want. So Reed Blankenship, all this stuff. A guy that I would honestly like to fill in the safety position, just because I think I like Malik Hooker, but man, he is getting up there in age. I think Donovan Wilson's warts showed a little more this year than they ever did, and I don't know if he has that. Can he come down and cover ability? We saw Donovan Wilson in coverage, and it wasn't pretty. I don't like it at all. So I like Kobe Bryant. Not a big cap hit, $6 to $8 million. He's got run pass versatility as a safety. But honestly, I just watched the safety group run at the combine. Man, I think you need to start fresh. Give Christian Parker and his staff 2 new young guys to build around. And we'll be worried about paying them next year. But I think Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson's time in Dallas is either at an end or coming to an end. So let me know what y'all think about that. But those are my big names, I think, that could fit in this system with Christian Parker on defense and that can make an impact. Hopefully and not bust the budget. I know they want to. I hope they're gonna. But I don't think that will overdo it because there's other positions that you need to pay. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Say if George Pickens doesn't want to sign the tag, he gets traded. Say we trade him for Max Crosby, whatever trade ideas are floating out there, which I don't think it's just ever going to be, George, Max, pick here, pick there. I don't think that trade's going to happen. However, say if George Pickens gets traded. So now you have a hole at receiver 2. Who can you find? There are some good receivers, but is that what you're going to spend your first round pick on? Because there's a chance one of those receivers, like a Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, I don't think he gets to you. Kai Lemon, is that where you want to spend your first round pick on? One of your first round picks on? No, thank you. So, couple names here. Let's go with some of the cheaper options. How about Rashid Shaheed? He's a speed threat. He's got motion. He's good with spacing. I think he can change it up, but he's not that. I think what worked with George Pickens is because he brought a different element to the game that CeeDee Lamb doesn't have. He's your jump ball guy. He's, even though he doesn't look open, he's open. So we need to find somebody like that. So give me somebody big, physical. What about Jawan Jennings? $10 million cap hit. He's got yak ability. He's a great blocker. And what about Romeo Dobbs? $14 million cap hit. He's a strong intermediate route runner, but he's really good on timed-based offenses. So is that something? But I think Dak's ability is to be able to, create plays. So I don't know how well that worked. And lastly, I think he was a guy I really liked in the draft. I can't remember, a couple years ago. Alex Pierce, he stretches the field. He opens up the run game. Is the price going to be for him high? Yeah, I think projected cap hit, we're looking at, $18 million? I don't think so. I don't want to do that. But I don't see any wide receiver scenario where if it's not George Pickens, then it's nobody else. I don't want to break up with a girl and it'd be like, if I can't have you, nobody can. He was the missing piece to this offense. He made everybody better. He was the guy that stepped up when CeeDee Lamb went down. So let's just quit messing around. I'm glad they put the franchise tag on him. Awesome. get the deal done. Open up money somewhere else so you can pay some big dollars for an edge or a corner or, I don't know, linebacker, somebody. Because honestly, I think edge is where you should go because I think it's a rotational kind of piece. So, but sticking with the offense. So here's our two scenarios, and I kind of want to know what y'all think. Cut Terrence Williams. Move Tyler Guyton to right tackle. And I know I've talked about this before. And then could you plug a hole with a draft pick? I don't think so. I think this is something you'd have to hit in free agency. Or option two, keep the offense the way it is. Let Terrence Steele take that cap hit, and then, make him prove he's worth the money. But so let's look at some right tackles, left tackles. So some left tackles. You got Rasheed Walker. He's a young blindside protector, and he's got play action strength. He projected cap hit. We're looking at $23 million. Again, these are the notes. These are things I pulled off the internet. Braxton Jones, he's reliable in pass protection. He's got good zone run fits. $17 million. Not bad. Now I think we're getting below the number that Terrence Steele is getting. And those are some left tackles that could fill in if you move Tyler Guyton to right. Now, say if you want to keep Tyler left, which I am, I will go on record and say I'm 100% keep Tyler Guyton on left. I love Tyler Guyton. I think he was a phenomenal pick. I want to see my man develop. And I think he was doing a great job until he got injured. So keep him at left. Let him build some muscle. The dude can do it. So let's replace the right tackle. What about Braden Smith? He's got a strong run anchor. He's versatile. He's $12 million cap hit. I think he can plug and play at right tackle. Rob Havenstein, he's a veteran power run blocker. He's worth about $15 million. Now, Terrence Steele's problem is never in the run game. It's always in the pass game. So do we want to get younger at that position? Maybe like a Larry Brown, $8 million. He's got upside, but do you want to bet on upside with a free agency money? No. I'd say if you cut Terrence Steele, better have a backup plan. I like Braden Smith myself, so I would go with the guy with the strong anchor who's versatile, but that's just me. So that's my list of free agents that I'd like to see them kind of talk to, bring in, but I think they got a plan. I feel like the Cowboys are moving different, starting the way it started with this coaching hire, and I think they're going to bring in some free agents. I really don't think they're going to mess with the offense too much, so I don't think Terrence Steele gets cut. I think they find a way to get a deal done with Pickens. He's expressed that he wants to stay here. And, let's start filling holes in this defense and draft defense. I think those two combos, two players, could make a complete difference at 12 and 20. Look what happened when Seattle got Jackson Smith and Jigba and was it Devin Witherspoon and Super Bowl champs, baby. So I completely think that if you keep 12 and 20, you will, and fill holes in free agency, you are going to totally revamp this defense. Do I think they're going to be top 5? No. Do I think they're going to be mid? No. I think they're going to be top 10. I think that if you do the best of both worlds, free agency spending and draft, you are going to come out with a better product. And I think you've got a coach that wants to communicate, a coach that wants to teach. You don't have just Eberflus being stuck in his ways. You got Shoddy that is just continuing to build this culture that I think, as me personally, and I don't know how other fans feel, but when they first hired Schottenheimer, I was furious because nobody wanted him. Nobody was talking about Schottenheimer, but he started talking the talk, and I got a little excited. I was like, okay, all right, I like how you're spitting, bruh. And he had to prove it, and I think he did. I think he really did. So if he wants to say, you know what, Christian Parker's the guy, you got it, dude. You got it. And if Christian Parker wants this player on free agency, the Jones boys should be like, you got it. Not be like, oh, we like our guys. And no, man. Get the guys that your coaches want. Get the guys that your coaches want. Let them build this defense and then have fun at the draft, man. Does that mean, does it open up for Jeremiah Love? I don't know, but I wouldn't hate it. We'll see how they look in the combine tomorrow, but the tape has shown us everything we need to know already. So I know I get frustrated because I'm in my new setup and I'm finally recording, and I think the next step is getting guests on this show. And my wife set all this stuff up, and I think it looks pretty cool. So I'm now excited. I'm getting amped up to start recording this stuff. So, but yeah, that's my take on free agency and what the Dallas Cowboys need to do to get back to the Super Bowl, and hopefully my sons can see a Super Bowl in their lifetime. And I'd like to see it again. Actually, I take that back. I didn't really become a football fan until 1996. My mom and my stepdad started dating like in the 90s, like 95 or whatever. And by that time, it was 96, and I was a child. I didn't really know. I grew up, and then I started liking football. But at that point, the drought had just started. And I've been in it ever since. I've been emotional roller coaster ever since. So I'd like to say I'd like to see a championship for my boys, but I want to see it for me. I want to see it for myself. We all deserve it. So do these things. Do these things, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. And then you can go have fun drafting. Then go have fun doing that. But until you actually compete in free agency, do not bargain bin shop. Get a dude. Get dudes. You need multiple dudes. So that's my little rant about free agency. But I want to know who y'all want in free agency. And if you're a fan of other team, who do you guys want in free agency? I'd love to know, because one, it keeps the conversations rocking, and it's interesting to hear from fans, because I feel like you can look at your team all you want, but it's not like you're going to have the inside information, because I spend a lot of time watching Tom Downey, listening to Zach Wolchuk, Brian Broaddus, Vach, Jay Tuck, all these guys, and I try to get as much insider information I have. Nick Harris, Patrick Nosey Walker, Kyle Yomes, Tommy Yarish, Aisha Morrison, all these rock stars, and I live and breathe this Cowboy stuff. So when somebody comes and asks me about the Cowboys, I'll be like, hey, this is the latest rumors. This is what this is. So fans of other teams, they know their rumors the best. They know their guys. They know their media. So if you're a fan of other team, man, please drop some knowledge on me. I'd love to hear it. Like, if you're, a Jets fan, or hell, even an Eagles fan, I don't care, man. You have your team. Let's talk about it. So, but yeah, that's my 2 cents on free agency. So everybody, thank you for tuning in to Big Rich Star Talk. And I'll be here next week. And I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try to have a guest coming on next few weeks, some other fans I met via social media on TikTok. So be tuning in for that. And if you guys like the video, please like and subscribe and follow. Do everything that you got to do. I'm trying to build this hobby up of mine. I'm not here to become a millionaire, but I'm here to meet other fans. I'm here to meet somebody famous. So yeah, everybody enjoy the rest of the combine if you're watching. And if you're not a psychopath like us, enjoy whatever it is you do on the weekend. So I'm Big Rich. Thank you for talking Star. As the 2026 NFL Combine is underway, we're going to go ahead and look ahead of players that we can expect to hit free agency and who's going to be a good fit in the new Christian Parker defensive Dallas Cowboys system. Welcome to Big Rich Star Talk. I'm Big Rich, and let's talk Star.